Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us today for our webinar on our two new designations, the National Construction Safety Officer and the National Health and Safety Administrator designations. I'm Amanda Siliker, the Communications and Engagement Manager here at Construction Safety Nova Scotia. So before I hand it over to Ryan, I am going to give you a little bit of a background about us. So who are we? In case you don't know, we're a nonprofit association that is funded by the construction industry, and we're dedicated to improving safety outcomes in the industry all across the province. Any employer in the construction sector with a WCB account is automatically a member of our association. So there's a lot of benefits to membership. Some are discounted training, consulting services from our highly skilled OHS advisors like Ryan, first year of core evaluation and training for free, downloadable and customizable safety templates, and much more. And all this information is also available on our website at constructionsafetyns.ca. There's lots of different ways that you can engage with us. We're on whatever social channel you're watching us on now, so LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. We also have an Instagram account, and you can email us, you can call us. We're here to serve you, and so there's lots of ways that you can engage with us. And I always want to give a little plug for our app as well. We do have a guide to OHS legislation app. You can get that, on your Android device or on your iPhone, and it's a really great app that makes things super easy to go through the legislation. All the different topics are there. I definitely recommend that you check that out. So now on to our webinar. First of all, I want to let everybody know that if you have any questions at any time for Ryan, you can write them in to the comment section on whatever social platform you're watching us on. Those will pop up for me here, and I'll be able to, interrupt Ryan and ask those questions and get an answer for you. So feel free to ask those at any point in time. So Ryan Quinn is an OHS advisor and team lead here at Construction Safety Nova Scotia. He's a Canadian registered safety professional, an ISO 9001 quality management systems lead auditor, and he holds a bachelor's degree from St. Mary's University and a certificate in OHS and another in safety leadership from UNB. He teaches many courses at Construction Safety, including all 3 levels of fall protection, and he conducts core audits as well. He currently holds his construction safety supervisor designation, as I'm sure many of you watching today do, but soon he will be completing the national exam to get his NCSO designation. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Ryan.
Thank you so much, Amanda. So we are very excited to be offering the National Construction Safety Officer and the National Health and Safety Administrator designations. In doing so, Construction Safety Nova Scotia has joined the other construction safety associations across the country in offering these designations. So some of the benefits that we see and know that our members and safety practitioners in Nova Scotia will experience will be a consistent standard of training and experience across the country. The courses in BC, the courses in Ontario, the courses in Nova Scotia, and everywhere in between are hitting those key competencies that you need to be an effective safety practitioner or safety administrator. This will also increase the ease of mobility from one province or territory to another for the safety practitioner and their respective companies when they're doing work outside of their home province there. We'll talk more about that later on. And then there is a requirement for maintaining your good standing with this your designation itself. This helps ensure that safety practitioners are staying current with their training, best practices within the field, and just maintaining their competency as a health and safety practitioner. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the National Construction Safety Officer, or the NCSO, as it's commonly referred to. So this designation here meets the national standard, the requirements that are set out by the Canadian Federation of Construction Safety Associations. It verifies that a person with this designation, the NCSO, has met the training, practical application, practical exercises, the experience, and written performance measurements. So a national exam and provincial exams. So applicants to the NCSO designation must possess a minimum of 3 years of construction safety-related field experience. We'll talk more about what this construction field experience means and how it's defined shortly. Next slide, please. As well as the NCSO designation, we're also offering the National Health and Safety Administrator designation. The benefit here to people looking to get into the field of health and safety is that you can apply for this designation, take the courses, write the exam, gain that education and training there without having those 3 years of construction field experience in the last 10 years. So for some folks, this may be the path they choose and they're going to stick to this path. Their job is more office-based and they're helping to administer the health and safety program. It's also a pathway for people looking to get into health and safety and potentially upgrade to an NCSO that don't have the field experience requirements there. This designation will help you apply for jobs, show employers that you have some training in health and safety, and then hopefully you can gain your 3 years of field experience and then apply to upgrade to the NCSO. Next slide, please. So many people attending today are probably CSS holders, construction safety supervisor, as I am, and the advisors and the administrators at Construction Safety Nova Scotia. So we have created a pathway for CSS designation holders to upgrade to the NCSO. You can find that application on our website. There, please complete the application, submit your resume, potentially records of employment there. That will be reviewed by the NCSO NHSA group here at Construction Safety Nova Scotia. And upon acceptance to upgrade, requirements will be to write the national exam. So please write in, please ask us any questions, and we can help you achieve that NCSO designation for your present CSS holders. Next slide, please. So what is construction field experience? So this is the definition. These are the requirements that are applied across the country to every member of the Canadian Federation of Construction Safety Associations. So you can be a construction worker working directly and actively in the construction field, a laborer, a trade, anybody on site performing that work directly involved in construction. You could be an individual who's directly and actively engaged in a safety role or position in the construction industry, or an individual who is responsible for supervision of the construction worker who also works directly and actively in the construction field. Could be a site superintendent, a project manager that's based primarily in the field, a field engineer. And again, apply. We will review those applications and provide you with more detail there. Next slide, please. So as I had mentioned, the NCSO and NHSA are nationally recognized safety designations. We have agreements across the country with the other construction safety associations. So if you were going to work in Alberta and wanted an Alberta NCSO, you would contact them and find out the requirements there to gain that. In a lot of cases, the requirement is to write the provincial exam for that province. In some cases, there may just be a reciprocity fee that applies. So to make sure that you get the most accurate information, please contact that Construction Safety Association in the province that you're looking to go work in. Next slide, please. So applying for the National Health and Safety Administrator. Applications, current resume, and a letter of reference from your employer can be sent to the NCSO at constructionsafetyns.ca email address. That's on our website as well. You can find that address. You can find your applications there. There's a $100 plus HST application fee. Then your application will be reviewed by the NCSO NHSA committee here at Construction Safety Nova Scotia. So please quote the application type, NCSO or NHSA, your full name, the name of your employer in the notes section of your e-transfer. And the note at the bottom, again, is if you hold your NHSA in 3 or 4 years, once you gain those 3 years of field experience, you can apply for your NCSO if that is the path that you choose. Next slide, please. So the NCSO application itself, similar information there, same email address, the $100 application fee. Again, in your e-transfer, please quote the application type, your full name, name of your employer in the notes section of that e-transfer. A little note there, just to let everybody know, we are anticipating a high number of applicants. So please expect a timeline of at least 2 weeks before you receive a response regarding your application, whether you're a CSS upgrading or new to the NCSO or NHSA. Next slide, please. So now we're really into the details of what the program consists of, the NCSO and the NHSA. So for clarity, both programs require you to take the same courses, write the same examinations, take part in and submit the same exercises. The difference between the two is really that 3 years of construction field experience. So some of the courses you'll be taking, and this will be presented in the order that you'll be taking them. Your WHMIS 2015 and construction entry level training. Both of those are available online. Then we have our core program of courses. We have principles of loss control. That's the fundamentals of creating and implementing and managing a safety program in your workplace. Hazard identification and control. So giving you those best practices on how to identify hazards in the workplace, analyze the risk, and determine and implement control strategies there. We have the core evaluation course. That is how to use the core evaluation instrument, how to evaluate or audit safety programs to the core standard. And leadership for safety excellence, where we review roles and responsibilities and duties of people in supervisory roles, workplace inspections, incident investigations, communication, and training. These courses are available online and are periodically offered in person, depending on demand. Next slide, please. So the next group of courses are in-person courses. They can be taken in any order. You have WHMIS 2015 Supervisor. So expanding on your WHMIS knowledge, looking at it from the perspective of a supervisor, someone that has to communicate this information and manage a WHMIS program in their workplace. You have your basic or intermediate first aid. As many of you may be aware, first aid requirements changed. We used to have emergency, and standard first aid. Now it's your basic 1-day course or your 2-day intermediate first aid. We have our accident incident investigation course, going into detail about how to perform investigations of near misses, of accidents, of any type of incident, and provide effective recommendations to prevent recurrence of those incidents. You have your Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee member safety representative course. There, required training under the core standard for any safety reps or JOSH committee members. And your Occupational Health and Safety Act course. So 2-day course in the classroom, diving deep into the Nova Scotia OHS Act with lots of practical exercises, great instructors bringing that high level legal concepts down to that daily use and how we can make the best of applying the OHS Act to our workplaces. So those are your required courses. We also require 2 electives. So this is your choice, depends on what type of work you do or your interests. We have traffic control person, temporary workplace signer. So anybody in the road work type of business or anything that puts you on public roads where you may need to create a temporary workplace to get your work done. Those are courses you could take. If you work at heights, we have our fall protection basic, fall protection 2 for supervisors, and a practical fall protection 3 where you are certified to erect and inspect end frame scaffolding. We also have our confined space generic, the classroom course that covers the requirements for entrance and attendance of confined space, and a confined space practical where you can put your knowledge to use in a hands-on situation with our confined space simulator and equipment. And finally, excavation and trenching. Next slide, please. So your practical exercises, these must be submitted in order to receive your NCSO or NHSA designation. A toolbox talk. So in some of our courses that we've just reviewed there, a toolbox talk will be one of the components you'll be presenting in front of your peers in the classroom, and you'll keep a record of that toolbox talk and submit that. A comprehensive hazard assessment of the company you work at or of another area, covering all the hazards in that work area, the controls, looking at the risks of those hazards, and a completed core evaluation instrument. So performing a core evaluation, a safety audit on your company using that instrument, scoring it correctly, and submitting that as well. Next slide, please. So now your required courses and electives are done. Your exercises are prepared and submitted. You'll have the provincial exam to write. So this exam is based on Nova Scotia OHS legislation and regulations. In here, you'll be using the OHS Act, the Workplace Health and Safety Regulations, the Occupational Safety General Regulations, and a few more to answer the questions presented to you, but very focused on Nova Scotia legislation and regulations. Then we have our national exam. Next slide, please. This is the exam that every NCSO across the country will write. This exam consists of 120 multiple choice occupational health and safety theory questions. So they're not questions tied to specific location in Ontario or Alberta. This is the funding of OHS that you'll be tested on this exam here. People choosing to upgrade from their CSS to the NCSO, this is the exam that you will be writing, as you would all have already completed the CSS exam, which is now the provincial exam, essentially. Next slide, please.
Ryan, I'll just interrupt for 1 second. We do have a couple questions about the exam. So the first one is wondering where the exam schedule is going to be available.
So the exams will be regularly scheduled depending on demand, but we are going to start putting those into our calendar. You can view that on our website in the training tab there. There's a calendar of courses. You can register through there, or you can call us up directly and register. The exams will be in person at our offices over in Burnside.
Okay. Yep, that's perfect. So yeah, that the schedule that either you go to the website and you see the digital calendar, it'll be there, and then it'll also be updated in the PDF version as well, with all the dates for that.
Yeah, and always feel free just to call us on our main line or send us an email, and we'll put you in touch with our training administrator, and she'd be happy to book you in for the next exam.
Awesome. All right. And someone's asking, yeah, you confirmed it's classroom only. Alrighty. Sounds good. I'll move on to your next slide.
Thank you. So an additional component, so you have your designation, your NHSA or your NCSO. The work doesn't stop there. Every 3 years, you must show proof of professional development, maintaining that designation there. So for that, there will be a fee of $100 every 3 years to cover the processing costs of that maintenance. And for the courses you can take, how you do your maintenance, it will be 2 full-day courses or 1 2-day course from any member of the Canadian Federation of Construction Safety Association. So you can take your courses from us at Construction Safety Nova Scotia. Maybe there's something at the Alberta Construction Safety Association that interests you. As long as it's one of those recognized members there, that training will count towards your professional development and designation maintenance. So your application fees there, $100 does not include an exam fee. So individuals presently holding a CSS, we are not applying any charge there. You can apply at no charge. There will be a fee for the exam though. So the exam fee for the provincial, $75 plus HST. For the national, $75 plus HST. Exam rewrites, again, same fee. You can write a total of 3 times before needing to reapply if you're not successful on those attempts. And there you have your $100 3-year maintenance fee. I should also mention there may be present CSO holders who receive their NCSO from New Brunswick, Manitoba, another province. In that case, you can apply for your Nova Scotia NCSO, and you would write the provincial exam as you've already written the national exam in that other province. So for questions, I see Ab has a question there. Any reference material for the national exam? There will be, and when we send out that confirmation letter to you that you've been accepted to upgrade or accepted into the program, we will provide you links to those resources.
And Ryan, what about for anyone who is, wondering about their own personal situation and if they might, want to go down this road? What do you recommend they do?
So anybody interested in a transition in their career, interested in OHS and becoming a practitioner, I definitely recommend applying. If you don't have that field experience in construction, the National Health and Safety Administrator is the pathway you should choose. That's, like I said, you'll be receiving that training and education there, the practical exercises and so on. It's just you're missing that field experience. This might be that designation, that proof of competency that you need to get your foot in the door at a new place of employment, and then you can gain your field experience, hopefully, with that employer. So if you're not sure, you can send us an email at that NCSO at constructionsafetyns.ca, and every application is reviewed individually with our committee there.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I don't think there's any more questions. I'll give a last call for questions here. If anyone has anything, pop it in the chat right now. Otherwise, all of the information that Ryan went over today is all available on our website. If you go to the training tab, you can see the NCSO and NHSA information there. If you rather just give us a call, you can definitely do that too. We're always happy to serve you that way. If you're in the neighborhood, if you're in Burnside, you want to pop in and chat, that's good too. Come on in, we can help you out, live in person. So many different ways to reach us, and doesn't look like any other questions coming in. Oh, wait, hold on. Costs. Okay. There is a question about cost. Ryan, do you want to touch on that?
So present CSS holders, there's no application fee there, but the national exam fee is $75 plus HST. So that would be the cost to you as a CSS at the moment to upgrade to an NCSO, the $75 plus HST exam fee.
Got it. The CRST, he has the national designation. Can he challenge the 3 years? He's wondering.
So we do take in consideration everybody's experience levels. But again, that for AB there, send us an email to that NCSO email, and then you and I can have a chat there about your experience and your present designation of the Canadian Registered Safety Technician there.
Great. And one more question about experience that's outside of Canada. Is that considered?
Yes, all field experience, construction field experience will be considered no matter what country that was performed in or gained in.
Excellent. Great. Well, thank you very much for everyone for attending. If you want to reach out, please do. We're always happy to help. And otherwise, we'll see you at our next webinar next time. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.